So we want to explore a little bit uh, this whole principle of celebrating independence and this freedom, because everyone has their own personal definitions of what is independence and what is freedom. And so we want to look at it uh, from the spiritual perspective and how important it is to have spiritual perspective, spiritual wisdom uh, around these big celebrations that we have in our lives. So we know that, okay, I will pop up on the screen. Okay. We know that the US and many nations in the world and most nations in the world will celebrate what they call the Independence Day, which is actually a celebration of political freedom. They fought against someone and they were able to get freedom. So every country celebrates its political freedom. But in the practice of bhakti, we celebrate something called the inner freedom. And the difference you'll notice is that one, political freedom, it changes history. Like the United States were habited by Native Americans, and then the some people call them the invaders. We came, our ancestors, and we changed the landscape and we changed the history. So in bhakti, we are not about political freedom, but we are actually about this inner freedom, which changes your destiny. So it's destiny versus history. So that is the difference that we see in uh, celebrating this freedom. Interestingly, you will see that in the practice of bhakti, uh, the emphasis is to really, really dive deep into this inner freedom that, which is the biggest prison house that we have incarcerated ourselves in. Many of us know that we live in a nation that has no walls, and yet we are trapped and incarcerated.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yep. Boop.
So, what is this all about, this freedom? Because it's so important to recognize that it's not the external that makes our life easier, is not the external that makes our lives uh, meaningful in its true essence. What makes our lives truly free is when we recognize that what's holding us hostage and the walls that are not seen with our eyes are the walls of lust, anger, and greed, and we have cocooned ourselves with this impenetrable uh, or walls that you can never go out. So those are the walls that in the Bhakti text we're talking about the prison of this six walls: lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy. So this is what freedom is in the practice of bhakti. So now I wanted to share with you when we study the Bhagavad Gita, for example, we see Arjuna, the most powerful king in the battlefield, and he is surrounded by an army, uncountable number of people ready to fight. Being the most powerful warrior, he could destroy all of them with ease, with ease. He had all the weapons. He could completely single-handedly destroy the whole army that was opposing him, that were challenging his position, and to uh, he could have easily done it. What was his situation? Even though, even though he was surrounded by the most powerful brothers, together they were considered invincible. But something in him was not free. What was his problem? The problem was that he was in a state of loss. He had lost his identity. His identity was based on the fact that he was a warrior and that he was thrown out of his kingdom. And these warriors, they wanted to uh, make sure he never got back in. So he had to fight for his kingdom. So his whole notion was that he was a warrior, he was fighting, and he was going to kill his own family members. So this is the identity, because when we start to put ourselves in Arjuna's shoes, we realize that the real freedom is something that was very deep. It is it is fear, it is desires, it is a prison without walls, and we cannot escape so easily. So Arjuna, at this junction, he takes shelter of his dear friend Arjuna. He says, Arjuna, Krishna, please help me. I'm lost. I really can't figure out what I should do with my life. Yes, I have all these weapons. All these family members are here. I don't understand why we have to kill each other. So he goes into this deep space where nothing made sense. And because when we are incarcerated, when we're stuck and held bound by lust, anger, greed, envy, jealousy, ignorance, and illusion, then nothing in the outside world will actually give us sufficient clarity. So therefore, Arjuna asks Krishna for clarity. And this is why we need to have a teacher in our lives. The teachers are not there to take your independence of thought, independence of research. The teachers are simply there to help you to understand your identity and the position that we act from. They're there to give us light, because the very word guru means someone who removes darkness. That's what guru means. So in this case, we see that Arjuna, even though the most powerful, surrounded by the most powerful, easily could vanquish his enemies, but he was not free. He was not experiencing freedom and independence. So therefore, Krishna is telling Arjuna that real freedom is an internal transformation, an inner transformation. Because we may think that independence means that we can do whatever we want. But we don't realize that this very idea that we can do whatever we want is coming from a space of ignorance. Because we cannot do whatever we want. Because our mind, our desires, they are commanding us, and we are simply following their commands. So, where is the independence? This is what the sages are asking us. The real independence is not the ability or the idea that we can do whatever we want, but the idea that we can be guided, that we are willing to be guided to experience that inner freedom. This is what independence is. Many, many sages in our lineage that we see, many, many sages. For example, this great king Bharata, his father was this great righteous king, and he inherited this king. At the age of 24, he gave up his kingdom in pursuit of experiencing freedom and independence. And when he went to the forest, what happens? That attachment in his heart was still there holding him hostage. He became attached to a little fawn, and that attachment was sufficient because attachment just to one fawn was strong enough that it took him to his next life being born as a fawn, as a deer. So this is what the spiritual wisdom teaches us, that even though we may think that we can do whatever we want, that is our understanding of freedom. Because that in itself, accepting that whatever we can do, that I have all the answers, is a rejection of the wisdom that the sages, the society that we grew up in, has been built on. A society is built on wisdom. Society is not built on independence. But we think that that's how society is built. So therefore, Krishna is saying that real independence can be had by taking shelter of wise people, by taking shelter of teachers who can guide us to our freedom. I was going to ask Shiba, feel very drawn to ask you this question. What is your experience? What is your personal experience of freedom? When have you felt the most independent and free?
Mm. Thank you, Veda. That's a very beautiful question to sit and think on. Um, I've actually kind of contemplated some of this um just recently, but I think when I'm most free is when I'm in nature and I'm just kind of like just swimming in water and just looking up at the sky, um, as well as singing to my deities. I think that that's when I'm connected, just being in that space of that here and that now.
Thank you for sharing that. Shiva.
Hmm.
So celebrating independence and freedom is to Shiva is being here and now. And that means that we are in the mode of goodness. Mode of goodness is the present. So Krishna explains to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita that one becomes free by embracing the truth and not by removing restraints. In other words, the discipline, the soul by nature wants peace and not chaos. And in order to embrace that peace, that love within ourselves, we have to truly embrace ourselves. And ourselves meaning the eternal soul. By definition, the embodiment of love, of purity. So that is what we have to embrace. And the sages are teaching us that that comes through sadhana, through discipline, because discipline gives direction. Every day when we discipline ourselves to sing to the Lord of our hearts, to being in the present, it takes discipline. You don't just say, I'm going to be in the present. It is a practice, it is a daily sadhana. Because the heart, by design of the Creator, is always seeking to surrender. The heart, by design, love, expression of love means the want to serve. The heart is always eager to serve and wanting to serve someone. But it requires a teacher's guidance to help to find the right object of that surrender. And so the teacher redirects you because we are always looking outside. The teacher turns you around and spins you around and helps you to look inside. And looking inside requires that discipline. Many times we think that we want to be independent because we're just so sick and tired of being dependent on others. Many times I hear stories in the United States. By the time they're 18, they want to be independent. They don't want to be dependent on their parents. I'm sure that in Europe, Nadine, in Europe also is the same culture?
Yeah, it's the same.
Yes. We don't want to be dependent. We want to be independent. But in the practice of bhakti, we learn that we are interdependent, that real independence is interdependent. And what that means is that we are always seeking counsel of others because they have seen the path. They're ahead of us. Even the sages, they're seeking the advice of others. Why is that? Because they understand that there is a limit to themselves. And once we understand that we are limited and we seek the counsel of others, that relationship of putting oneself in a position of humility to seek counsel of others, this is an energetic exchange that happens when there is a divine intervention, when there is a revelation that takes place. You can have many realizations, you can have so much knowledge, but it is through this interdependence that we can actually become the recipient of grace. So real independence is is interdependence, means seeking help and guidance. And that's where Krishna tells Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita that you should learn the truth from a teacher, one who has seen it, one who has seen the truth. And he also provides the process. And the process emphasizes the importance of humility, to understand your limits. Because to understand your limit is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength because it allows you to surrender. Because the soul has to surrender because that's how we are built. We are meant to serve. By design, we are always in the mood of service. We're serving the nation, we may serve others, and we can resist this, but eventually we'll end up serving our mind and our senses and our egos. But regardless whether we accept it or not, by design of the Creator, we are going to surrender and we have to express that love. So the sages are explaining that freedom or independence is really understanding that freedom from ourselves and not the circumstances. If we learn to become free from ourselves, then we will realize the vast world that awaits the soul. The sages also explain that each and every one of us, we all need to have some help and guidance. Because without guidance, we will feel weak, we will feel lost. So the duty of the teacher is actually simply to give you clarity. And that's what a guru is. So Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that Arjuna, learn to become free because real independence and freedom is not the world that you are going to fight outside. If you address your inner freedom, if you address the real inner independence, then there is no force outside that can hold you. Because the real jail is the jail that we have incarcerated ourselves in, where we are the jailer, we are the judge, and we are the jury, and we are the prisoner. So Krishna is saying, please, get out of this prison house. When we study history, throughout history, we see that every civilization builds prisons to confine people. In the United States, the highest rate of incarceration, the highest rate of incarceration. But the spiritual tradition, we see that this prison that we are put ourselves in, it speaks about the prison of the mind and the senses. And so, this prison that civilization creates is to keep you physically restricted, confined. But we have created a prison for ourselves. And on this celebration of the 4th of July, the independence of the United States of America, our meditation should be about the inner transformation, the inner independence. Because it is only this inner independence and freedom that is real independence. Till then, we may not fully experience what independence and freedom feels like. So again, freedom means inner transformation that changes your destiny. So this is what I was thinking of because it's a very important day. You can go to Walmart and you will see that all the shelves are empty because people are buying a lot of food and a lot of everything because that is our expression of freedom. Big fireworks, eat a lot of food, a lot of barbecue. That's how we celebrate freedom. So this is my meditation and thought for today. And I wanted all of you to have your own meditation. What is this freedom what is this independence that we need to have a closer look at? So, Kushita, you want to share something? Please. Today, I wanted everyone to share your experience of your understanding of what freedom and all it means to you.
This lecture holds a very deep space in my heart, and I'm gonna attempt to say all of our hearts because we do travel life's journey, always building these walls, this incarceration, unconsciously, obviously. But then once it's so firm and the iron has just embedded deep in the roots of our soul, it's very hard to widen, to get out. But through all these years and all these ups and downs and everything that I have gone through, I cannot agree more with you. It's all over my book. For me, service has built this walls, has allowed these walls to melt and really understand the purpose of why we are here. And nothing more than a community like this, a guru that I love the meaning of the guru. I've never even looked that up. Why? I know you don't like to be called that, but you so take the darkness away. I mean, it's, and you give clarity, and this freedom of the soul, as I call it now, is just being able to be you with absolute love and compassion and empathy for yourself while being able to show up for others. It's being able to not gift your happiness to any human being around you, despite of what is going on. For me now, the biggest freedom is really clearly that your peace is non-negotiable and that you do this inner work, your meditation, your inner medicine every day to keep yourself aligned. I've been really working on this discipline factor and how important it is. And as one that has so many things going on in her life, and she walks to go to one direction and deviates 7 directions because another great thing happened, I've built here my little empire to remind me. Honestly, I leave the mat out there. I've got the harmonium right here. I've got the drum right here in the chair. I've got the prayer box right here. I mean, just whatever works for each one of us to just continue to stay so present, then our prayer would just be to simply be who you are meant to be in these 3 seconds and deconstruct any idea of this illusion of we are even anything. So I can go on a lot. I want to respect and hear everyone's voice. And I do have an invitation at the end of this live. Please give me 1 second to come back. Thank you so much for asking. This is very deep, and you have helped me so much to gain my inner freedom. as well as this space, as well as everyone here. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else would like to share their experience of freedom? Are you all being shy? Ewing, please share with us your realization, your reflection.
I actually have a question, but I'll share with you. When I felt free, I mean, there are several times, but I think one of the impression I had was a realization is uh, that lightness that I felt, that freedom is when I realized that I am not the labels that people put on me or the labels that I put on myself to fulfill societal expectations. So I'm just me. And when I realized that, oh, I'm just me as it is, it felt like, wow, it's this endless potential.
Beautiful. And what is your question, Ewing?
So my question is, when you talk about this freedom, this mukti, yeah, um, how would you personally know when you are fully free? Because we are very conditioned, and every day we will experience all these illusions and stuff. But when do we know that, oh, I'm really 100% free? Is that even possible?
Hmm. Yes, very beautiful question. So our life is meant. We were actually born free. We come into this world, and the soul, when it turns away from one's truth, then immediately becomes incarcerated. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a beautiful text, and it says, the minute we turn away from the truth, then we are immediately captured by the messengers of illusion. And that illusion, they capture you and they brainwash you so quick, and that becomes your identity. And then you're in pursuit of this Krishna Surya Samamaya Haya Andhakar. Beautiful. Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikar, which means where there is true eternal love, that place, there is no room for darkness. When you experience that deep spiritual love in the heart, in your relationship with God, in that sacred space, there is no room for any darkness to enter. So that love is considered to be the sunlight. And it is only when you turn back can you see the shadow. So the point that the sage is making is that we have to cultivate the space through our sadhana, how to be in that space. And that space being free from lust, anger, greed, and all these walls that keep us confined. So that is when you realize that being in the mode of goodness, being in the present, and living in your true essence of a loving soul that is simply here to love others and to be loved. So that recognizing and living from that space, that is what bhakti is. Bhakti is the consciousness of love. So there we know, because there time stops. There's no time, there's no space. Everything becomes an experience of an eternal life. So it transcends, consciousness transcends our material plane of existence. And So you may get different glimpses of that throughout your life, but our goal is to see how we can discipline ourselves to always be in that state of consciousness. Nadine, you have something you'd like to share with us.
Yes, I would like to share something.
Please.
In my opinion, or in my experience, the way to come to this freedom is it's a long way. I discovered that I have different steps of being freed or being a bit more free. And when I look back, I was really attached to external stuff, like addicted to drugs, to alcohol, to whatever. And the first time when I felt free, it was when I left all these substances out. Can I say it like this? But
Yes.
still, there are other, this was the first step. But now I recognize, okay, but there are also some strange thoughts in my mind. You know, there are still some things going on which needs to be cleared up a bit.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not doing it, I'm always stepping back in this jail. You know, I can do whatever I want to, but if I don't have this discipline to do it really every day and to take care of myself and of my thoughts and all of my things going on in my head, I will directly step back to this jail. Sometimes by not even recognizing it. And then all of a sudden I think like, oh, it's getting darker. So maybe we should put some light and clear something up. Yeah, that's just something I wanted to tell.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, the material world has a way, material energy has a way to capture us. Sometimes they capture us through drugs, alcohol, partying. So many different ways it has a way to capture us. You think about it, it'll find a way to capture you. And the more you think it is going to give you freedom, and the more you start moving around in it, the more sticky it gets, like a spider's web. So, our goal is not to try and make material life comfortable. Our goal should be how to make our spiritual life the center of our existence. Because all of the entanglement starts to naturally peel off of you. So, my meditation I always like to share is that we should try to see if we can put boundary around your material needs. Then your spiritual life will just naturally grow. If there is no boundaries to the material needs, it'll just keep expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. But beautiful share. Thank you, Nadine. Ashwini, you want to share? Please share with us.
Thank you for the opportunity. And this discussion around independence and interdependence was so like, oh yeah. Somebody here said that in the nature, she feels free. I am the similar too. And I really feel free. I'm not thinking about my problems. I'm not thinking about my children, my personal life, my work. And then as soon as I am back here at home, it starts weighing in again. Just recently, I would like to share without going too much into details. I had interesting conversation with my manager where I got some feedback. And I consider myself inclusive, collaborative, do the things with the good intent. Uh, and this was a little hard for me to digest. And as I was saying, like in the nature, I'm fine. And as soon as I'm coming back, that conversation is coming back on my mind again. And it's not freeing. It's weighing on me. And this discussion actually is helping me to when I go back now, it will help me to accept that feedback and understand what I need to do about it. Um, So this is freeing. I mean, this will be freeing, but definitely my ego, my sense of me was coming in the picture, rather than me looking at the bigger picture and bigger person there in that situation. So as I said, since it's being recorded, I don't want to go into the details, but the practicality of your advice. So it's not just something spiritual, something up there. It's going to help me grow. It's going to help me have those hard conversations. So thank you for that. There is interdependency in all of that we do. And we have to, even at work, we have to take care of everybody's needs. And it's nothing personal. I hope it makes sense, but it's helping me for sure.
Beautiful, Ashwini. The hard conversations needs to be transformed into heart conversations. It is only hard conversation because it is not hard conversations. So sometimes we have to put an element of heart into the hard conversations. And then you may notice that things become so much easier because that is the principle of bhakti. Bhakti is the principle of simplicity. It makes life very easy because you just inject heart into everything.
Thank you.
Because it's otherwise it becomes a ritual, a relationship, a communication. As soon as you invest heart, it becomes spiritual. Otherwise, it becomes really hard. So why should we make things hard? Just inject some heart into everything, into the relationships, into the cooking, into the work, into every situation and circumstances. Because then everything is easy. Because this is not me. This is what the Shastras are saying. This is what the sages are saying. This is what the wisdom texts are saying. Shiva would like to add something, please.
Well, actually, I think it's Troy that wants to say something. So.
Yes, Troy, please. We've been waiting for some more wisdom.
Well, I don't know how much of that I can provide, but I'm giving from my heart. And hello, everyone. Good morning or afternoon, wherever you may be. So I think I was having a conversation with another gentleman, and I think the freedom means to me, once I started feeling freedom was when I separated myself from performing for the attachments that I have in this world.
Mm.
And I accepted the inheritance that I have and the gratitude that I have for them. They're my partners. They're my, my children are people that are going along with this journey from me.
Mm.
And so the moment that I detach from feeling the responsibility of of I have to have a part in their outcome, that's not mine. And mine is to live in my journey. I've started feeling a sense of freedom from the home that we have, the cars that we have, the job that provides it.
Mm.
Those things enslave you to life and your experience on life. And the moment that I start operating or stop performing for them and start living from what my gifts are, and I left corporate and started my own thing that is based off of service and based off of heart and helping and connecting with people and just having faith that will be provided for. Um, that's a freedom, and it was hard because I didn't understand how it would happen, but it was a freedom being able to release and surrender to it and just use my natural gifts that I was born with to create whatever it is that will sustain any of the people that I am attached to.
Mm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Troy. Okay. Ivan, He's representing all of Bulgaria. I wanted to see
Haribo.
Haribol, Ivan. Many of you not know that any of you have attended my retreat. All the breath work and all this incredible music you hear is all coming from Ivan. So Ivan, please tell us, share us your 2 cents.
Oh, well, the topic is very deep. I'm fighting every day with it. How free do I feel? How much freedom do I give to other people? And I can talk hours and hours, and we love to discuss stuff with you when you're in Bulgaria. But I'll try to resonate a little bit on what's really giving me hope that I am free, because real freedom, I don't know if I ever experienced, because the moment I feel free, another crazy thought is coming to my mind and it's taking this freedom away. So I got a lot of notes today from the conversation. All of them deserve to be on the wall so I can remind them to myself every day. But yeah, I mean, for me, real freedom is to let go of ego and to try to make things less hard by putting the heart into them. So no matter what you do, it's always your ego that is imprisoning you. It's things that's you, that's your I mean, everything that you do belongs to you. I mean, yeah. So if you want to serve others more than serve yourself, this is liberating. And since I started practicing bhakti, this is for me, um, this is like the roadmap to freedom is on here, and it's really in my hands how serious I am to really follow the guidelines. And if I want to get to the destination, I should follow the map, not just thinking of my own ways. But yeah, I mean, and last thing is I'm now in Greece with my family. We're having vacation, and I'm
We missed Heartspace. Oh, shoot.
oh. Um, so yeah, and I was just walking on the beach every day and trying to relax and get my health together, my mind together, and everything. And then I just realized that's the moment I sit down and I close my eyes, and then I'm bombarded with my feelings and with everything, with my thoughts. So it doesn't matter if I'm in a real prison or outside on the seashore. It's all in my head. So I'm being imprisoned by my own self, as you uh, described in the beginning. So thank you for sharing all this info and wisdom and your heart. It's really helping me to um, keep myself motivated to serve others, to help, and to be less of a self-centered person. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. Thank you, Ivan. So, this is our call today. So please keep in mind there's no cages around you. The cage is around your heart, and it is through surrender and service can we break free from this cage. So Ramananda Prabhu said America is not free till they beat Belgium in the World Cup. So we will see what happens. Kashita, you want to add something, please?
Well, first of all, thank you for this beautiful heart space. I look forward for every Saturday morning. And to continue with this freedom topic, I would like to invite you guys to have more freedom of your soul coming to Mexico for the retreat that Angela and Vrindavan and Vedaji are holding in Bacalar, Mexico. If you guys have not heard of it, like I'm just going to give you an image. Like, it's crazy. It's a lagoon of 7 colors close to Cancun. In fact, the retreat starts on August 6th in Cancun, and then we transfer over to Bacalar. And the title of this retreat, it's Waters at Renewal Retreat. And Angela could not be here because she's teaching a class, but she told me that for anyone attending this class today, if you were to contact her today, and Itai, if you can help me with the phone number of her in the comments, because for some reason I cannot copy paste anything right now on my computer. She's gonna give a special discount to celebrate the freedom and come along because there's only a few spaces left. Please join us. It's gonna be fantastic. 6th to the 10th of August, Bacalar, Mexico.
This music is from Ivan.
Yeah, I was really surprised. Thank you so much. It's
Anytime.
every call that finishes with this. Amazing.
It's beautiful.
Okay. Thank you, beautiful souls, and see you in Bacalar. And please always remain in your heart. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Haribo.
Stay fun!